All right, everybody, get ready, because this time on the deep dive, we're taking a look at Foul Play Ricky, Season 3.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, this season is,
Buckle up.
it's a doozy. 12 episodes. We got a lot to cover.
So much craziness.
So much craziness. I mean, where do we even begin with this? I guess maybe we should start with the case, kind of the case that kicks it all off.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to start with Ricky. Like,
Yeah.
What is Ricky Barone at his core?
Okay, so Ricky Barone, everybody's favorite, down on his luck kind of private investigator.
Washed up, but in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still rocking that flip phone.
Still drinks Crystal Pepsi.
Crystal Pepsi. Like, who does that?
Nobody. Just Ricky.
Just Ricky, yeah.
That's great.
So yeah, he's kind of this, like you said, washed up kinda, but like good at his heart, like ultimately wants to do good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got that moral compass, even if it's a little, off kilter.
Off kilter. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And this season, it's his old pal Ken that brings the case, right?
Right out the gate, yeah.
Yeah.
Classic Foul Play Ricky setup. You got the missing dogs.
Missing dog, check.
You got the mysterious microchip.
Yeah.
And the getaway car is a cozy coupe.
A cozy coupe. Who even drives those things? It's like
I don't know, but it's definitely sus.
suspect. Very sus.
Very sus.
So yeah, the dog Rocket is his name, and it's so funny because the writers are just kind of like throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks in these early episodes.
Absolutely.
But they always reel it back in. Like, and this is a perfect example of that because you've got this, this wacky setup, and then we get that microchip, and this is where things start to get a little bit real.
Yeah, because it's like Operation Cold Run. What is that?
Right. Like, what is that?
Who would put that in their dog? That doesn't make sense.
It's too specific to be, like, meaningless.
Yeah. And then, on top of that, you get the creepy note.
Oh, the note.
Yeah. Joe Tourniquet, like, who?
Joe Tourniquet, yeah. And just the name, even it's going to be trouble.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
Not going to be good at all. But before we even, like, get into all of that, there's already this other weird side plot with Ricky's love life.
Of course. You can't have Foul Play Ricky without a little romance.
Of course not.
Even if it does involve a murder investigation on the first date.
Classic Ricky.
Classic Ricky.
But it's actually kind of sweet in a way because they actually bond over their shared love of Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, that's cute.
So, they got that going for them.
Yeah, but back to this whole Joe Tourniquet thing, it's like things go from 0 to 60 real quick.
Oh, yeah.
1 minute we're investigating a missing Shih Tzu, and the next we're in a Wild West showdown with a dude called the Bullseye Bastard.
The Bullseye Bastard. And he's got, like, the outfit and everything.
The whole 9 yards? Like, how do you even process that?
I don't even know. Like, that's the thing about this show is it's like, it's so self-aware. It's like they know how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
And they just go for it.
Yeah, no, they fully embrace the absurdity.
Yeah.
And speaking of absurdity, you can't forget that Ricky gets shot in the heart. Like, straight up shot in the heart.
Shot in the heart and just walks it off.
Well, not exactly walks it off, but he does survive. Thanks to that whole adamantium skeleton thing from season 1.
Oh, yeah, the adamantium skeleton. See, this is what I mean about those writers.
They pay attention. It's like Chekhov's skeleton or something.
It's going to come back, You gotta remember those little details because they always come back.
Exactly. But for now, it just saves Ricky from certain death again.
As you do.
Right, like it's just another Tuesday for Ricky Barone.
So, okay. So while Ricky's off having his Wild West adventures, things are not going well back home with this whole Operation Cold Run thing. Because now we find out that Jacob Barkley, Ricky's old business partner, is also involved somehow.
And not just involved. He turns up dead. In Ricky's office, no less.
In his office with a cryptic note signed JT.
Okay, that's seriously creepy. And it gets worse because then you remember Judy's tattoo.
The JT tattoo. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Suddenly everything about Judy is suspicious.
Right. Is she involved with this Joe Tourniquet? Is that what the JT stands for?
The plot thickens. And just when you think you're starting to get some answers, the writers hit us with the mother of all cliffhangers at the end of episode 5.
I mean, talk about an episode cliffhanger, right?
Seriously. That JT tattoo just throws everything we thought we knew out the window.
Right. Like, is she good? Is she bad? Is she working with this Joe Tourniquet? Is she a victim? Like, we don't know.
And to make matters worse, Ricky decides to take a little vacation in the middle of all this.
Miami.
Of all the places. It's like, Ricky, your life is falling apart. Maybe hold off on the mojitos.
I know. But it's also kind of classic Ricky, right? Like, he's always got to do things his own way. Consequences be damned.
That's true. I mean, the man does wear a bathrobe to a crime scene.
Touche. But okay, so Miami, right? We got Ricky. He's living it up, trying to find the best Cuban sandwich in town, which, let's be real, that's important work.
Yeah, a man's got to eat. And in Ricky's world, food is serious business. Don't forget about his love of Cool Ranch Doritos.
Oh, how could we forget? The man's practically a walking advertisement for Cool Ranch. But I digress. So, Miami. We got the hilarious encounter with Mr. Chip.
Don't even get me started at Mr. Chip. I mean, who carries around that many bags of potato chips?
And then there's the poor waiter who just can't catch a break with Ricky.
I felt bad for that guy. All he wanted to do was take his order.
Right. It's like, just let the man have his pasta. But vacation can't last forever, even for Ricky Barone. And when he gets back, things have taken a turn, a really dark turn.
Yeah, the death of Judy really ups the stakes.
It's brutal. And the way they find her, so similar to Jacob's murder. That message on the wall, chillin'.
It's like Joe Tourniquet is sending a message. And that message is nobody messes with Joe Tourniquet.
He's definitely not playing around anymore.
No kidding. But there's also something about the way the writers connected those two murders. Like, they wanted to highlight the shared details. What was it? Baby bye from JT?
Yeah, scrawled in what looks like blood. Ugh, it's just, it gets under your skin, you know? It makes it real.
Totally. And we have to talk about the microchip.
Oh, yeah. The plot thickens. They find the microchip, the one from Rocket, clutched in Judy's hand. What does it all mean?
Right. Like, was she trying to get it to Ricky? Or was Joe setting a trap?
And then those coordinates leading to that creepy abandoned house. It's like every answer just leads to more questions.
Which, again, classic foul play, Ricky. Just when you think you're getting close to the truth, the rug gets pulled out from under you. And this time the rug is a trap door, and Ricky's falling right into Joe Tourniquet's lap. Literally.
Don't forget about Rita. Poor Rita, just trying to do her job as Ricky's getaway driver, and she gets called away for an emergency horse surgery.
Classic Rita. Only in foul play, Ricky, would a veterinarian be your getaway driver.
Only in foul play, Ricky.
But back to that creepy house. Things get really wild, really fast. We finally come face to face with Joe Tourniquet, and he's not what I expected at all.
Yeah, he's hooked up to all this weird medical equipment and that voice. Like raspy and weak, but menacing at the same time.
Totally. And did you notice he was wearing that weird wristwatch? The one Ricky got from the time-traveling circus folk back in season 2.
Oh, snap. You're right. I forgot about that. The writers are good. Real good.
So good. But it also made me wonder, what's Joe Tourniquet's deal? Like, why is he so obsessed with Ricky?
Well, he does say something about Ricky ruining his life. And let's not forget the whole bombshell about Lenny.
Right, Johnny's younger brother. I did not see that coming.
Nobody did. But it also explains why Joe Tourniquet was so interested in that time rift. He's been trying to get his revenge on Ricky for years.
It's a classic revenge story, but with a foul play Ricky twist.
And then, just when you think it can't get any weirder, Joe drops the multiverse bomb.
The multiverse. I mean, I knew foul play Ricky liked to bend the rules of reality, but this is next level.
Right. Like, apparently there are now hundreds, maybe thousands of Rickies running around the multiverse, causing all sorts of trouble.
And it's all our Ricky's fault, because he fixed that time rift.
Apparently so. And guess what Joe Tourniquet's plan is?
Don't tell me. He wants to eliminate all the other Rickies.
Bingo. It's like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids meets Back to the Future with a dash of the one.
Only the writers of Foul Play Ricky could come up with something this bonkers.
But of course the episode doesn't end there. Oh no, they had to hit us with that gut-wrenching cliffhanger.
Ken, poor Ken, trapped in a cage, dangling from the ceiling like a
Cool Ranch Dorito in a vending machine.
You're not wrong. And Joe Tourniquet's just standing there, watching him, that creepy smile on his face. I mean, talk about leaving us hanging.
So we got multiverses, we got murder, we got a guy in a bathrobe chasing down clues. It's Foul Play Ricky at its finest.
It really is a whirlwind, isn't it? You never know what's coming next.
Never. And I love that about this show. They keep you guessing, but they also give you those little moments of like pure absurdity, like the whole adamantium skeleton thing.
Right. Who even thinks of that?
Only Ricky Barone. But okay, we got to talk about that cliffhanger, Ken. I mean, poor Ken, always getting caught in the crossfire.
He's like Ricky's own personal Jiminy Cricket, always there to offer advice, even if Ricky doesn't always listen.
Which is, let's face it, most of the time. But that's what makes their dynamic so great. So where do we think this is all going? Will Ricky be able to save Ken?
I mean, he has to, right? Ken's like family.
Yeah, but what about Joe Tourniquet?
Yeah.
And this whole multiverse thing? It's a lot.
It is, and I'm a little worried about Lenny. He seems so young, so easily manipulated.
I know. Do you think he'll end up following in his brother's footsteps?
I hope not. I mean, Foul Play Ricky has its share of darkness, but it's also a story about redemption.
That's true. Remember back in season 1 when Ricky helped that psychic octopus?
Octavia? How could I forget? That was such a bizarre yet heartwarming episode.
Right. So there's hope for Lenny yet. But back to Joe Tourniquet. What's his endgame here? He wants to eliminate all the other Rickies. Why?
Maybe he thinks it'll somehow bring Johnny back. Or maybe it's something even bigger, even weirder than we can imagine.
Knowing the show, it's probably both. But here's a thought. What if Joe Tourniquet's wrong about Ricky? What if he's underestimated him?
What do you mean?
Well, Joe Tourniquet seems to think that Ricky's the key to all this, that he's the one who messed up the multiverse and he's the only one who can fix it. But what if Ricky's greatest strength is his unpredictability, his willingness to break the rules? What if that's what ultimately saves the day?
You know, that's actually a really good point. Ricky's chaos might just be what the multiverse needs.
Exactly. Sometimes you gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet. Or in Ricky's case, maybe you gotta crack open a few multiverses to save the day. But hey, that's just a theory, a foul play Ricky theory.
And you know what they say about Foul Play Ricky theories?
They're always wrong.
Exactly. So, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what crazy adventures await Ricky Barone in Season 4.
Well, that's it for this deep dive into Foul Play Ricky Season 3. A big thanks to my partner in crime for helping me unravel this wacky, wild ride.
Anytime. Always happy to talk Foul Play Ricky.
And to all you listeners out there, keep those theories coming, and remember, it's all in good fun. Until next time, stay curious.